picture stepping off a boat on the eastern shore of the Sea of Galilee and immediately being confronted by a total nightmare.
Yeah. You land on the shore, and out of the graveyard comes this man. No clothes on, crying out night and day, cutting himself with sharp stones.
And the locals had tried to bind him, right, with shackles and chains.
And he just tore them apart. Supernatural strength. Nobody could tame him. But when he sees Jesus from a distance, he actually runs and falls on his knees.
And then comes that name. When Jesus asks who is inside him, the response isn't a personal name at all. It is Legion.
Legion, which is a Roman military term for a full division, up to 6,000 soldiers.
Right. So it is a show of overwhelming, organized force. They are trying to intimidate him. But Jesus does not buy into the fear or the ancient superstitions about knowing a spirit's precise name. He just commands them out.
Yeah, and here is where the story takes this massive, shocking twist. The spirits beg not to be sent out of the region or into the abyss. They ask to go into a nearby herd of swine.
About 2,000 pigs.
2,000. Jesus gives permission, and immediately the whole herd rushes down a steep bank right into the sea and drowns.
And you would think, okay, the man who was suffering is now sitting there clothed in his right mind. The city should be celebrating, right?
You would think. But when the townspeople come out and see him completely sane, they are terrified. And then they look at the financial loss. 2,000 swine gone.
That is a catastrophic economic hit for that community.
Huge. So instead of welcoming the healer, they plead with Jesus to leave their region. They literally preferred the predictable dysfunction of a madman in the tombs over the costly, disruptive transformation Jesus brought.
That is so revealing. Mercy was just too expensive for them.
It really was. But look at what happens next. The healed man begs to get in the boat and go with Jesus. And normally, Jesus tells people, keep quiet about the miracles, what scholars call the messianic secret.
Right, keep it quiet. But here, he does the exact opposite.
He says no to the man coming along, and instead says, go home to your friends and tell them what great things the Lord has done for you. So this former outcast becomes Mark's very first missionary to the Decapolis, the 10 Gentile cities.
So Jesus gets back in the boat, crosses to the other side, and a huge crowd gathers. And this brings us to one of Mark's famous story sandwiches. 2 stories wrapped inside each other.
Right. Jairus, a ruler of the synagogue, comes and falls at Jesus' feet. His 12-year-old daughter is dying, at the point of death, and he begs Jesus to come lay hands on her so she will live.
So Jesus starts walking with them. Urgent situation, every second counts. But while they are pushing through the dense crowd, there is this interruption.
An unnamed woman who has had a chronic flow of blood for 12 years. 12 years! Just like the girl has been alive for 12 years.
And Mark tells us she had suffered under many physicians and spent all her money, getting worse instead of better. Plus, under Leviticus 15, her condition made her perpetually unclean, socially isolated, spiritually cut off.
She reaches out in desperation and touches just the fringe of his garment, thinking, if I can just touch his clothes, I will be made well. And instantly, the bleeding stops.
And Jesus feels power go out from him. He turns around in the crowd and asks, "Who touched my clothes?"
The disciples are like, what do you mean, who touched you? Everyone is crowding against you.
But she comes forward, trembling, and tells him the whole truth. And under ritual law, touching him should have made Jesus unclean. But instead, his holiness flows outward and makes her clean. He calls her daughter and sends her in peace.
And while he is still speaking to her, messengers arrive from Jairus' house with terrible news. Your daughter is dead. Why bother the teacher any longer?
Imagine Jairus standing there. The delay seemed to have cost his daughter her life.
Exactly. But Jesus overhears and tells Jairus, "Do not be afraid, only believe." He uses the woman's public healing as living evidence for Jairus.
He gets to the house, puts out the professional mourners who mock him when he says the child is sleeping, and takes only Peter, James, John, and the parents inside.
He takes the dead child's hand, another boundary crossed, touching a corpse, and says in Aramaic, Talitha Kumi, which means, "Little girl, I say to you, arise."
And she immediately gets up and walks around. And then Jesus does something so gentle and grounded. He tells them to give her something to eat.
I love that. A massive, cosmic victory over death itself, anchored right away in simple, everyday care.
If you would like to explore more of these stories in depth, be sure to check out the book Divine Narratives, a collection of inspiring biblical stories, for further information and insights.
It is a wonderful resource for continuing your journey through these incredible accounts. Thank you so much for listening.